right, happy holidays. Welcome to another episode of Lions Avenue. We kind of handling this episode as a farewell to a disappointing and underwhelming season for our Detroit Lions. We're going to get everybody out there. We're going to before we get too deep into the content, we want to give everyone the opportunity to join us because we love and respect the opinions of all of you guys and gals who do tune in with us for every episode, every live. Trust me, we truly, truly appreciate you. Now, we all understand this was a season that started with some very, very high expectations. Regardless of the 15-2 a year ago and the losing in the divisional round to the Washington Commanders, who eventually went to the NFC Championship game, this was still a team that was getting back a lot of players. Now, the level of talent those players possess, you can argue what that is here, neither here nor there. But this was a team that was getting healthy. They paid and kept all of their own. There were some additions that were viewed as upgrades, may not have proven to be upgrades over the long run. But, this was a team that they kept everything in house. You can argue how wise that is overall, but neither here nor there. This is the philosophy of this organization. We take care of our own. We draft, we develop. We don't overpay for free agents. We don't get caught in cap hell. Even though it seems to me in this day and age in pro sports, at least in the NFL for that matter, every organization finds some form of cap hell within every 3 to 5 years. It just happens. You got to pay somebody. You're going to overpay some guys. Some guys are going to underperform after you pay them. You got to eat some money. If you're one of those organizations that's consistently changing quarterbacks or changing head coaches for that matter, you're
Yeah.
paying out guys to stay home. So there's just financial ramifications, I think, in this day and age in the NFL that kind of prevent you from avoiding cap hell. So you kind of like, hey, you might as well spend the money if it's there. Take some swings. But this is a team that did not take any swings in free agency. This
Yeah.
was a failed 2024 draft class. This was a failed, for the most part, in regards to helping a team with championship aspirations are concerned. This was a failed 2025 draft class. We got some light, some few rays of hopes from Miles Frazier towards the end of the season. Um, Isaac Tesla, he's a player. He's someone that has to have a bigger role on this team next season. But injuries killed this team. Breaking into coordinators killed this team. Switching up play calling duties during the middle of the seasons, I think screwed this team up. The youth of the offensive line on the interior screwed this team up. The cornerback room not evolving. The depth players that they signed outside of Rock Ya-Sin not really being much. DJ Reed started the season okay, suffered a hamstring injury, was never the same. After that, you lost two all-pro safeties. Um, Things went bad, man. They
Yeah.
went south really bad for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Um, and your thoughts before we get deep into the roster and what needs to happen. What happened this year that made the wheels fall off of what you and I had perceived as a team with a 12-win ceiling, with a 10-win floor, to a team that may miss the playoffs by two full games?
Yeah. I mean, we went. I think Vegas had us at 9.5. I think that was the starting point for the season, right? From after the draft to preseason to training, training camp to preseason. I think it was 9.5 wins they had. And remember, we looked at it and kind of scoffed, like, man, I'd be shocked if we win 9 games or go 9-8. What I mean? We knew it wasn't, 15-2 was kind of like unheard, excuse me, unheard of, but I was thinking more 11-6 at ceiling, 10-7, 11-6. That's where my mind was kind of going, with the schedule, given the fact we knew our team was flawed, but man, I didn't think it was as bad as it was, to be honest with you. And it was an eye opener, man. I thought losing Ben Johnson would hurt, not this extent though. You know what I'm saying? I knew that he was an asset to what we were doing the last couple years. I realized that Aaron Glenn was an asset for everybody that wanted to. They were poo pooing on him the whole time he was here, saying he sucked at a defensive coordinator, and did blah blah this. We blitzed too many. We blitzed too much, and it was the reason why the scheme was how it was because of the lack of talent that we had on our defensive line. So fast forward to the season, the draft. Drafting Talik Williams. First of all, Frank Ragnow kind of retiring on us. Like, okay, okay, now we got to go in without Frank Ragnow, and it was sort of like everybody kind of glossed over it a little bit. Like, okay, we'll still figure it out. We the Lions, we still will be a good team. You know what I mean? We still will figure it out. Somebody else will come up. But the problem was, while we didn't have that backup center on the roster. You know what I mean? We thought we would be okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not you, but it's just people thought we would be okay. You know what I mean? And that was like, okay, we miss Frank. He's a Pro Bowl center, but we'll figure we the Lions. We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? The last 2 years been a joyous ride with this team, and we haven't lost much. We 15-2 last year. So fast forward again to the draft and not addressing some issues. And listen, this is not a show. First of all, we said this is not a show. We not pointing fingers at anybody today. We just gonna break it down to how it shaked out. Okay, we got to work with what we have, right? So now, fast forward to the season, Micah Parsons gets traded to Green Bay, kind of overshadowed what our outlook for the season, right? So then we get to the season opener, and then man, like a ton of bricks, the reality set in. I think with me and you, the reality set in real quick because I really thought that once we get out on the field, the talent, we will be able to overcome because we did it the last 2 years, right? So that first game against the Packers was an eye opener to me right off the bat. You know what I mean? That it wasn't. We was in trouble, and I thought that from game one. Even though you worked the kinks out from week 1 to week 7, your team should look different. But and then we beat the Bears. Remember in week 2 we scored 52 on the Bears, and everybody thought that everything was great. We back. We don't need Ben Johnson. We got Johnny Morton. We fine, right? And then injuries started. You know what I'm saying? Teams figuring us out real quick. You know what I mean? Seeing what the weaknesses are, taking advantage of the weaknesses. So, man, it was just a catastrophic end to the season. The Lions were that team like the Lions are that Christmas tree right now, right? Christmas is over. And you don't want to see the Christmas tree no more, right? You want to pack it up, take the ornaments off, put it away until next year. You know what I mean? And that's what the Lions really have to do, man. They got to scrap this season and look forward to next season. And then the first thing is you have to get a new offensive coordinator, man. Dan Campbell, I've seen on many podcasts, many outlets. And I like the way shout out to 109 the Mitt, if I'm saying it correctly on Instagram. That young man, he's really good at what he does. And he said that Dan Campbell should be the CEO of this team, not the offensive coordinator. He was right. I mean, he is like the top guy, master motivator, rah rah. We gonna do this, we gonna do it this way, that type. But the problem, only thing I can say with Dan Campbell, this is going to be a big couple years for him come moving forward, man, because in big games, it seems like he's not winning those big games like he should. You know what I'm saying? And now, remember, last year was Washington. You go 15-2, you got an inside track to the Super Bowl, man, and you don't win the game. Trust me. A lot of things happened in that game, and I know, what I'm saying? There's a lot of things. But ultimately, the coach and the quarterback gets blamed, right? For a loss like that. So he got to own it. that loss against the 49ers. Even though he didn't go out there and drop the pass like Josh Reynolds, he didn't fumble the ball like Jahmyr Gibbs in 2023, but he was coaching that team. You know what I mean? So he's going to be the one that everybody points the finger at when we don't win. He is when we win, right? We playing all the locker room speeches. We saying how great he is. And he is a good master motivator. He is a good, but man, these next couple years, Walt, is huge for his, I think, for his culture building moving forward. Because if they don't win, it's going to fall at his feet. You know, just like people are coming after Brad Holmes, people are going to come after Dan Campbell. And they're already starting to, you know what I mean? Which I think is ridiculous. Anybody that says you should fire Dan Campbell, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't fire Brad Holmes. But I'm going to just tell you this. I know the spotlight is on them guys now. You know what I'm saying? You're not sneaking up on. Remember when we said this? I said the hardest thing I do think in any sport, especially football, because the turnover. And my motto was always year to year things change. You know what I'm saying? The 2023 Lions team, like you said in the pre-show, Walt, that team is long gone. That team is gone. You know what I'm saying? So I think we were kind of living off of what we did, you know, quarter away from the Super Bowl. I think we was living fat and happy off that outcome. You know what I'm saying? For 2 years, man. And a lot of these guys, and we're gonna get into the roster today too. A lot of those guys that was on that team, they're not gonna be here next year. You know what I'm saying? They're not like Anzalone. I'm just picking him, just get top of my head. Him, I think DJ Reader, it's time to move on from him. Boy, I mean, we're putting faith in guys like Ennis Rakestraw that hasn't played. So if you're Brad Holmes, you absolutely have to have a different approach in this draft coming up, man, because we've seen it. And during the season, Walt, we couldn't cover man to man. You know, said that wasn't working. We can't block up front. Gibbs was noticeably frustrated against Minnesota. I think and Gibbs is a pretty quiet guy, doesn't really give you too much body language, but his body language was terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole team. I think I felt that they quit against the Packers. I mean, the Steelers. I text you, and you was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And it was like we never thought we would say that about this team, man. And I think that they can't get this season over fast enough. I think they think they I do think that they think, trust me, that they don't have it this year. They had the cockiness, they had the swag, they had Penny Sewell just mauling people. Penny Sewell looks like a shell of himself, man. You know what I'm saying? Only because I think of the situation. It's not because he's fell off. I think Taylor Decker, God bless him. And you know me, I love Taylor Decker. He's like the last guy standing from that old regime. He probably won't be here next year. You know what I'm saying? And I think the offensive line, they got to figure it out, man. They got 4 quality linemen. I wrote down Sewell, Mahogany, Miles Frazier, still a question mark, Tate Ratledge. You got to go from there, man. You cannot go into next season and say, we got these guys and we got Awasika and what's the other guy? Eagle Khan, the guy who, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's great. Those guys are good practice squad players, man. That's fine. But you cannot go into the season with those guys next year, man. And what I mean, counting on those couple guys. So what I'm getting at, I say all that to say this, and I'll let you take it away. You can't go and say this has been Brown Holmes' philosophy. Well, we got Aiden Hutchinson. We don't need to take another DN. Okay, you cannot go into the season next year with Muhammad and Pascal and Marcus Davenport. Oh my God, just get them off my roster, please. Just don't even. I'd rather not even have anybody than to have Marcus Davenport on our team. So that's another guy. You cannot. You got to have your philosophy's got to change, man, because you cannot go in the next season and say, well, we got Jack Campbell, and therefore we don't need another linebacker. Yes, you do. You need another linebacker. You need a low key. We need another receiver, bro. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, Khalif Raymond, God bless him for his service. But when you're throwing the ball on Thanksgiving, we had Khalif Raymond, Tom Kennedy, and Ferkser, the backup tight end. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. How you just you've got to build this team better, man. And for everybody to say, "Oh, well, we straight at receiver." Well, injuries happen. What if next year we get? And remember, St. Brown got hurt, okay, and 150 something targets for St. Brown is way too much, in my opinion. Way too much. And that's how you sprain ankles when you're cutting too much, or it just, I'm not making excuses, but what I'm saying is when you just run a player into the ground, injuries happen, man. You know what I'm saying? Strained calves happen, ankles turn. It's just, you got to have more than one guy to make an impact on your team. You know, you got to go 3 and 4 deep on every position in mind. That's just how I feel about it. So I'll let you take it away. But the season was highly disappointing, man. Highly disappointing. Just the way it ended, because I never thought I would see the Lions just get out muscled. You know, you lose to, and then the icing on the cake, you lose to Max Brosmer, a guy that throws what he had 50 yards passing, but he made two of the biggest plays of the game when he used his legs and got the first down, and pretty much got that set up that Jordan Addison run. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the threat of him running, and they had the Lions all shell shocked. So unacceptable to lose to the Steelers, bro. The Steelers got one receiver on their team, one, and you lost to that team. You know what I'm saying? So it's unacceptable, man. We're totally unacceptable. I'm like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody or point fingers or say, because it's a little bit of blame to go around. We know what those our weaknesses are, and it's well documented. So we gonna get through it. You know what I mean? And we're gonna we me and you, when we do this show, we got solutions. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're bashing people and then don't want to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? We can fix the problem. It's fixable.
Dude,
But I
listen, we be right about a lot of stuff. Like we
yeah.
we can we can talk about what we write about when we write about it. It's like taking your car to your mechanic and then getting mad at the mechanic for finding something wrong with it.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
damn it, what you mean I need to change my brake pads?
Yeah.
But they're worn down.
They're worn down.
They're
Yeah.
grind down. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't pay you. I didn't come here to hear about bad stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
no, but it's true though. But I don't want to hear it. Stop being so negative.
Right.
Okay, well, drive out of here with these bad brakes then.
Right.
I just think, listen, man, we gonna get into this because I think the listeners are really gonna enjoy this because we're gonna go through each position group
Yeah.
specifically on this team, and we're gonna start with the linebackers.
Yeah.
If you
Good.
go
Good.
to the linebacking core right now, man, you're talking about Alex Anzalone. You and I both agree this is probably his last game as a Detroit Lion.
Hmm.
Just looking at how this past all season kind of went for him, I think he kind of left a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah.
Now he went out there, played the role as a good soldier, played good this season next to Jack. Jack obviously developed into a star in this league this year.
Pro
So
Bowl.
it's his defense.
Yeah.
I would like to see Jack make a few more plays, maybe a handful of sacks here and there, more maybe a couple of interceptions every now and then. But Jack overall, the tackles for loss, the solo tackles, the forced fumbles, Jack proved to be worth where he was drafted. Derek Barnes, good player. Is he a difference maker? Probably not.
No.
Trevor Nowaski, another depth piece. Is he a difference maker? Probably not. Grant Stewart is a guy who, when you watch him play on film,
Hmm.
God, everybody loves a fast, explosive guy with long hair hanging out the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
But is he a quality football player? We really don't know.
Yeah. He's
That
special team.
linebacking core, bro,
It's
it
just
went from a
it's.
strength. Remember, we talked about this last offseason. We talked about the linebacking core being a potential strength of this defense.
Mhm.
And now at the end of 2025, it appears to be a hindrance.
Yeah. I got two solutions. Remember, I'm here to help. I'm here. We here to help the situation,
We here
right?
to help.
We're here to help. I'm not here to bash. I think everybody that watches our show knows we got solutions. Okay, that's what it is. We got solutions. Okay, Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. That's a guy. He's rated third on draft on Draft Buzz right now. 6'3", 238. I think the 40 times 4 point in the four, they got him pegged to run 4.5. I want to see that kid at the combine. At the Senior Bowl. I want to see Anthony Hill Jr. That's another guy I think the Lions could get. And another guy, just two guys right now, is Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU. Another guy that I think that the Lions, 6'1", 220, a little bit faster than Hill. So those are a couple guys that you can just plug in there, man, for cheap and rookie contracts. Get them guys in the system while and be difference makers next to Jack. Because I think um, uh, Jack Campbell is has been phenomenal. We love Jack. Congratulations, Jack Campbell, Pro Bowl. Well deserved. He's one of the top 7 linebackers in this league right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think to give him somebody else that's fast, that can get there. And I think the opportunities, man, I think that what we need to create opportunities on defense, man. Make teams pay for throwing the ball, get some deflections. When was the last time we had a tip ball for deflect? I know Aiden Hutchinson made the one play against the Rams. I think that was like the only play all year that we made. And I think Thomas Harper got an interception too late in the season, since Kirby Joseph went down. So I do think we need to get guys who can cause turnovers. I think speed at the linebacker position allows you to cause the team to make turnovers. So those are a couple things. But like you said, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, and then that's it. I think Malcolm Rodriguez is another guy that's been regulated since his injury to specialty. I think Malcolm Rodriguez won't be on this team next year. Just my opinion. You know what I mean? I think you would like him to come back, but it's just like the old Malcolm Rodriguez from 2023. He's gone. I mean, Malcolm Rodriguez was out there making plays in 2023. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now he barely even played. He was hurt.
He was one of the new guy culture setters at that point in
Yeah.
time, but
Yep.
he's not a guy that we can't move on from. And
Yeah.
I like
Exactly.
Anthony Hill Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker from Texas, 6'3", 238.
Mm-hmm.
Began this season, PFF had him ranked in the top 10. Super talented linebacker, man.
Yep.
Super talented. Now, he struggled. I think Anthony was a little bit inconsistent throughout the entire season in Texas. Texas defense as a whole had its ups and downs all season. A lot of guys underperformed compared to what they were expected this season. But I mean, Anthony's frame is a little slight. He's got long arms, kind of a high cut body, long legs, thin frame. So
Mm-hmm.
there's been a little bit concerned about his body and whether or not physically they believe he can hold up in the NFL. He's had a ton of missed tackles throughout 3 years of playing at Texas, but he makes plays. He gets tackles for loss. Um, he's not the highest skilled edge rusher when it comes to getting after the quarterback, but in order to become that, you have to actually do that. So Texas doesn't really ask him to do a lot of that within their defense. But I mean, if you're talking about a young guy, if you can't get a Arvell Reese, a guy like
Yeah.
Arvell Reese,
Yeah.
linebacker, off-ball linebacker from Ohio State, he's expected to be a top 5 pick. So, and we're gonna get into this later because
Yeah. We getting
if you're the Detroit Lions, the
yeah.
closer you are to the top 10, the greater the chance you have to possibly trade into the top 10 and go get a Arvell Reese or anybody else you may really be smitten with for that matter. But I
Yeah.
do like Anthony Hill Jr. Um, now, depending on where we're picking at ultimately,
Yeah.
don't know. But if you're talking about the linebacking core, you and I both agree they need some juice.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Campbell's a good player, but
Yep.
I think Jack is going to be better if you had a weapon in that linebacking core
Yeah.
and that front seven around him that can make plays.
That's right.
And Jack is good protection, I think, for a lighter linebacker. You're not putting all the run defense on Anthony Hill Jr., because Jack Campbell's the anchor.
He's
I like
sure
Jack a
tackling.
lot, man.
Yeah, he could tackle. He wrap up good. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, if you get a guy that gambles and just goes all out, maybe Jack can be there to clean it up.
You
You know
got
what I'm
Jack
saying?
playing next to you. You got
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah. That's what we
Don't
kind
be
of need.
afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we kind of need. So yeah, I'm glad you started with linebackers. So
Let's
yeah.
move on to the defense line, man.
Yeah. Yep. Big. This is huge right here, man. This is huge. I think this is my biggest complaint in the complaint box for this. I'm calling HR. I'm complaining. HR with our defensive line is in shambles, bro. It's in shambles. It didn't it just didn't come to fruition like the vision that it looked like Brad Holmes was trying to create. You know what I'm saying? I think me and you both like the Talik Williams pick. You know what I'm saying? And I think Talik will be a good player. And I think he's gonna take over DJ Reader next year. I think that it's gonna be DJ Reader along with I'm sorry, it's going to be Talik Williams along with Elaine McNeil. I think those two guys they're fine. Okay. I don't like, I'm just going to say this, and Elaine McNeil is both our guy. We both liked him coming out of NC State. You know what I mean? He's put in the work, he got his body right, he's got his strength up. Elaine McNeil has turned into an NFL defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? That other teams would covet. But I think Elaine McNeil hasn't been playing with that same edge. Now I don't know. Maybe he's still hurt. Maybe he don't trust that knee all the way yet. I don't know. But I know this. I know that Lee McNeil that's been out there playing the last 5-6 weeks is not the Lee McNeil that we paid, good contract to, and want him here. So I think I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just gonna say coming back from injury, it's tough. You putting that he's got a big frame. You put a lot of weight on that knee. Maybe he don't trust it all the way yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we rust him back and be in dire straits to get that part of the line rectified and just having his presence out there and draw some double teams. But I think that it didn't work. He wasn't effective enough to cause double teams to free up Aiden Hutchinson because Aiden Hutchinson wound up still getting double triple teams sometime and chip blocked at the end of the
Well,
play. So
just to comment on that for 1 second.
yeah,
I think we got to see also this he's a decent player, but he's not the elite of the elite. I
no, he's
think
not
the elite,
Jeffrey Simmons or
right,
yeah,
the elite
right,
of the elite can get hurt, miss 7, 8 games, not be eligible to practice all off season, come
yeah,
in mid season and be great.
yeah,
This guy was looking damn good before he got hurt last season, though. I will
yeah,
say that he was looking damn good.
yeah,
But the question is always going to be raised, how good is he? Because he hasn't been able to give us a full season. So we haven't seen, damn, we haven't had a season where we ended that season and said, damn, like Aleem is that dude. We
yeah,
still getting flashes 4 years into this.
right,
You
right.
know, no, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And I wanted to just what you said because I think that the whole defense as a whole just need guys. We need corners that can make plays, get interceptions. We need linebackers that can make plays, cause fumbles, and occasionally get to the quarterback. We need D linemen that can cause a ruckus and havoc. And we don't have any of those guys, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. That's not pointing any fingers that part of our defense, we don't have anybody on our defense, man. That other teams are like, damn, like Miles Garrett, Max Crosby, those guys require, Will Anderson, those guys, you got to look for them guys. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on Jacksonville's defense, those guys can make turnover, cause turnover. So again, I got a solution. Let's go here. I like LT Overton is like the dream scenario for me because people say, well, why would you take him? And you kind of got guys with that same skill set on your team. Again, I think Overton's would be an impact player in this team. You know what I'm saying? Do you want try hard guys or do you want guys who can play and it's going to be and make your defensive line one of the feared in the league? That's what I'm looking for. So having said all that, I got 3 or 4 defensive linemen, but I'm drafting another one because I want to get the production I'm looking for. They're not giving me the production that I'm looking for. So therefore, I have to, make changes. And I think the cheapest way to do it, because listen, I say cheap, not because I want to be cheap, but you got to build your team in other areas. So let's just say if we traded and got Trey Henderson now in the offseason, which I think could be a good scenario now because the the off season, I don't think you have to give up as much to get Trey Hendrickson. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you want to
Yeah.
go that route, give me Trey Hendrickson. But if not, give me Overton, or what's the kid from Oregon? I love 6'5", 270.
Oh, Uyunglele.
Ukulele Mateo
Yeah.
Ukulele. That's another guy. Yeah, just draft him and everything will be all right in my book. You know what I'm saying? You won't hear a peep out of me because I think the production would be there. But well, I
Yeah.
let you take it on. I don't think this D line has nearly been good enough. I think that's part of the problem. I think past the offensive line number one, the defensive line's number two, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
unacceptable to have and Lee McNeil and Hutch making the money that they're making, which is not their fault. I mean, I don't like ever talking about money because all these guys deserve to be paid with the time and the work and the effort they've put into it their whole career since high school. But what I'm saying is we're shelling out a lot of money on defensive line help and we ain't getting the production, man. So for how does this D line rank in your eyes? You just tell me how you feel. We never really hit on it about like how you feel about this D line as a whole. What would you do moving forward? May I ask you that?
So I'm looking at next season from a Lee McNeil as an all-out season.
Yeah,
I need you to stay healthy. Now, ultimately, whether or not he stays healthy is out of his hands. Things happen, injuries happen. But you're right. DJ Reader more than likely is gone. Tyleek Williams are going to step into that spot, that zero, that one tech, that guy that's responsible for eating up all the double teams and the A gap, as well as just doing all the dirty work. The
yeah,
big fella in the middle doing the dirty work. We got zero from Makai Wingo, an
yeah,
undersized defensive tackle that pretty much played zero at all this season.
yeah,
And Roy Lopez turned out to be a
yeah,
bright spot.
yeah.
So
He
I
played
do
good.
believe Roy Lopez, I like to keep him around.
Yeah,
But let's be honest, man. Aleem McNeil, Tyleek Williams, um, of course, Aiden Hutchinson. And you got a couple options.
hmm,
You could either go the traditional three down lineman route when it comes to the defensive end spot and go get a guy like Keldrick Falk from Auburn, a guy who's 6'6", 285, which is odd. Like he's got sort of a basketball type body. He's got a
yeah,
frame, I think, where he can put on a decent amount more muscle. But he's a guy that's an elite run defender. That's what they like. He's in
hmm,
that height side, that height weight range that they tend to like too. That's why they like Marcus Davenport so much. Not Aleem McNeil, but Aiden Hutchinson is a guy that's in that
hmm.
realm as well. But the guy that I'm gonna go to, honestly, I believe is a guy they severely need more. And this guy has been an elite player for the last 3 years, and that's David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech.
Oh
He's six
yeah.
three,
Oh,
two hundred and
oh,
fifty pounds.
oh yeah.
If you go to PFF right now, he's an elite run defender with a run defense grade of 78.1. He's got a pass rush grade of 93.9. He's got a true pass rush grade of 95.
Yeah,
And his pass rush win rate is 21.9, which puts him in the 1% in all of college football. He has 14 sacks in
yeah,
2025. In 2024, he had 7.
yeah,
In 2023, he had 5. And this is a guy, like I said, he played his best in his best games. He had one, two, three. He had 3 games with grades over 90, and he had one, two, three, 4 games of grades over 85. That right there within itself are all elite numbers. And to put the icing on the cake, he plays without gloves. So that lets you know how tough this dude plays barehanded in this day and age in the NFL and gets 14 sacks, bro.
yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
think with I think with Aleem McNeil, Tyleek Williams having that type of protection up front, as you and I mentioned, having a tackle machine and Jack Campbell in the middle,
hmm,
and adding a guy, an edge rusher like David Bailey. He's not a guy that just gets after the quarterback.
yeah,
People may look at him like a James Houston type of body type or whatever.
yeah,
No, this guy plays the run first at a very high level and also gets after the quarterback.
Yeah.
So Lion fans out there, we're gonna do a film study, a couple film studies actually on David Bailey. I got a ton of David Bailey film. So get
And
ready to
then
look forward to that over the next 2 weeks as well. But right now, for me, for a team that's picking in that what we missed the playoffs,
15.
we're picking at least what 15
Yeah,
at least.
15. I think it will start from 14. We're gonna be like from 14
We
to 8,
lose again, we could
something
if the
like that.
Bears, yep. So we're
So
gonna be possibly in that David Bailey range. We're gonna be in range to get an elite edge rusher if they take that position the most serious. Could
yeah,
also
even
be some other positions, but for me right now, yeah, David Bailey. I would lean closer to David Bailey of Texas Tech than I would over Keldrick Falk of Auburn, simply because Keldrick Falk, while he's 6'6", 280, and he's
mhm.
an elite run defender, he doesn't get after the quarterback consistently enough for me. And I
Yeah,
think this is a team that direly needs somebody else in that front seven that can get 13, 14, 15 sacks.
you
And
know,
David Bailey is that type of guy from Texas Tech.
who could be an animal too on the outside. I like this kid. I know he'll be around in the later rounds from Indiana. Mikael Kamara. I love him,
Hmm.
man. 6 foot
Yep.
one. Mount for 260 pounds. I think that's another kid that if he runs good at the combine, I think he could be a mid round pick. You know what I mean? Mikael Kamara. That's another guy. I think he's savvy enough, man. He's got all in time. I love a guy who's got some speed. Because think about it. Think about if we had some speed, a guy that can beat a guy on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? Aiden Hutchinson can do his thing on the side and have another speedster on the other side. So I think that's what we kind of need as well. So that's another guy, Mikael Kamara from Indiana.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna move to the back. We're gonna get to the defensive backs, the corners, as well as the safeties.
Oh man, this
Uh,
this is a problem right here. This is a
this,
big problem. This is a
well,
problem, man. I think this is what we okay. I had people say that the cornerback spot, this is where the injuries has happened. I think this is part has let us down as well. I think because of the injuries, I could say that because I do think Terry Arnold missed a lot of time being hurt, a valuable time, which I think like a game like next Sunday where it's nothing to play for, right? Terry Arnold should be out there. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs the reps. He needs all the most NFL action possible. Terry Arnold needs to be out there, and again, he's hurt, so he's going to miss some time. DJ Reed has been absolutely terrible. You know what I mean? And I'm disappointed because DJ Reed was the only guy. Yeah, them my two guys you put up there, Branch, Kirby Joseph. It sounds like Kirby Joseph, can have some type of degenerative knee issue, what I mean, where he's going to be playing with pain basically the rest of his career, from what I hear. And it's almost like we kind of got hit over the head with an anvil, man, with a 2x4. We thought our secondary was set. At least I did. At least I thought, okay, man, we got Kirby Joseph, we got Brian Branch. Our safeties, we good. You know what I mean? That's when I say we're good. Because when I thought that you paid Kirby Joseph, rightfully so, some people scoffed at it, but it's almost like this is the position group that this is why we're not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Even though we haven't got to the offensive line yet, but I think, Walt, the reason why we're really not going to make the playoffs is because our back end is so decimated right now. We can't stop anybody. I mean, I think that's the problem. I think, we Minnesota scored 23 points, but they had basically a rookie quarterback out there. You know what I'm saying? You give up, 29 points to Aaron Rodgers. You give up, I think the last game we won was December 4th against the Cowboys. I think, we beat them, 44-30. We still gave up 30 points to the Cowboys. So it was like we were still giving up tons of yards and losing. That's even worse, man. So What I'm saying is, I think DJ Reed. I Waltis DJ Reed signed through next year. Was it 1 year deal or was it 2 years? I think you said right. Was it?
Yeah, I believe it's 2 years.
So I think DJ Reed's going to be here next year. But what I'm getting at, I absolutely drafting a cornerback this year. I'm not dependent on Ennis Rakestraw playing. We haven't seen that kid in 2 years, so I'm not. I'm moving on from him. They probably won't, but in my mind, I'm not even expecting him to play next year. So I'm moving on. So this is what I got for you. Oh boy, I like Colton Hood. I like the 6 foot guys. I mean, he's
Tennessee
maybe,
corner.
yeah, he's
Tennessee
under
got two of them.
yeah, he's undersized, but he's another guy that battles. I like guys who hand check, who can get in your face and don't give you 10 yards and catch the ball and make a tackle. No, I want cornerback to be aggressive, and if we're gonna continue to play man coverage, if Calvin Shepard continues to be the DC, which I expect, it seems like Calvin Shepard's a guy like you gotta win your one-on-ones. Basically, what he said to the media. He said that since the beginning. So I want a guy who can cover, who can battle. I like Will Lee as well. Will Lee the third from Texas A&M. It's another guy, 6 foot
Tall
one.
corner.
Yeah, he's kind of small though. He's 6'1", but he's small as hell. That's another guy. I love the kid from my top guy. I didn't give him in order. Is the guy from Georgia, Dalen Everett. I love Dalen Everett. I think that's another guy the Lions might want to look at. It's some good corners in this draft. I think that you'd be crazy not to get one of these guys, man. This draft cycle. I'm not saying you draft one in the first round because I think that the offensive line is way more premium right now. That you need a blue chip
I don't
offensive
know, dog.
lineman. I
I mean, listen,
We'll get to that point. We'll get
they
to it.
they
But
invested in the O line though. I think last draft. If we just talking corners before safety, because safety is a discussion all within itself.
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Mansour Delaney, the cornerback from LSU, six
oh
foot 190,
yes,
long arms, highly excelled in man coverage,
yeah,
great ball skills. He's got the interceptions over the past couple years. He's got the forced incompletions, the pass breakups, and his feet. He's not the fastest. I don't expect Delaney to run into anything in the 4.3s now
yeah,
with the way these kids train in this day and age, when it comes to the NFL Combine, you
yeah,
could train yourself from a 4.42 to a 4.38. I think it's possible.
yeah,
And a lot of that is cosmetic because
yeah,
everybody knows the NFL when it comes to cornerbacks and wide receivers. What did he run in the 40? What did he run in the 40? That's
yeah,
what everybody want to know. But I'm a big Mansour Delaney fan. Also, Jamad McCoy, 6'1",
Tennessee,
190. The
yeah,
cornerback out of Tennessee didn't play in 2025 due to recovering from an ACL injury. Could have came back, I believe, but at the end of the day, Tennessee did not have a good season.
hmm,
They went through their issues. So if you're him, and the funny thing is, he didn't play at all in 2025, but he's still rated as the number one corner on pretty much on everybody's board, even over Mansour Delaney. You're talking about a guy with the ball skills, a guy that's highly competitive in man coverage,
yeah,
long arms. You're talking about a guy that always gets his head around to get the football. And that's the difference between being a good quarterback, a cornerback, and I think a great cornerback.
yeah,
Richard Sherman said it the best. Charles Woodson said it. Champ Bailey said it. The best corners aren't the best corners because they're great in man coverage. They're great because they take the ball away.
yeah.
Um,
That's what we
Great
need.
corners get avoided, but the great corners are able to bait quarterbacks into throwing their way and getting picks. I
That's right.
want cornerbacks that excel in man coverage, have those physical skill sets, and also take the ball away. Now, the issue with Jamad McCoy, and we talked about this, injuries.
Yeah,
Fans around here are tired of hearing about him, Brad
injuries.
Holmes draft the injured players, but I don't view Jamad McCoy as a guy that you're drafting hurt because he's healthy now. So you're getting a guy who did not play at all in 2025. He played in 2024 for Tennessee. He transferred from Oregon State.
Yeah,
So he played at a high level at Oregon State, played at a high level at Tennessee for 1 year, tore his ACL, did not play all of 2025. But this kid is 100% ready to perform at the combine, his pro day. Not going to be at the Senior Bowl, I don't believe, but he's not injured. He's not a kid that you're drafting injured. You're drafted him fully healthy now,
Yeah,
and he's a guy that'll be ready to go. I just think the corner is a position that you have to have at high premium
yeah,
because you need it, man.
yeah,
Terrion Arnold, could he become a really good slot? Probably. I think so. I don't think he's ever going to be a high end number two, a high end number one. I think he's a guy that's part of your defense. In his
yeah,
rake straw, as you mentioned, I don't consider him until you can actually get on the field. I can't really consider you. Rock Ya-Sin is a guy that played well in the pinch
yeah.
for
He's
us.
played well. Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, but you're talking about Nick Whiteside and Arthur Mollett and Khalil Dorsey and Amik
Mhm.
Robinson. Also, hey, listen,
He got screwed. The Meek got screwed.
yes,
I'm telling you,
he's been our
because
best corner for two
been our
years
best corner. He's not even a CB
outside
one.
of Carlton Davis. And
Yeah.
he ain't even here no more. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to take the cornerback position seriously. I think this all season. I don't think cornerback in the first round, I mean in the first round is out of the realm at all.
Yeah. Yep. And like you said, I want to mention your guy too. I know you like Damani Jackson too, right? From Bama. Damani
Um
Jackson, 6'1",
Specimen.
196. He looked like
Yep.
he fast as hell. Look, well, they
Yeah.
got him pegged
He
in
got the
at
track
running.
background.
Yeah, that's what I want, some recover speed, man. Remember, Arnold can't run. That you said that the night we drafted him that he couldn't run, and I only thing I've got nightmares of seeing DJ Reed chase people all over the field, man. You know what I'm saying? We played the Ram, he chasing people everywhere. So I want some guy with some recovery speed that is quick, like you said, has got some long arms that can make some contested plays. Um,
I don't think Jamal McCoy falls to us though, because I got a strong feeling the Rams gonna take him with that pick they got from the Falcons.
the extra pick they got, yeah, yeah.
They have the ability. They got those FU picks now. They got two first round picks. They could possibly win the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
and got a top 10 pick, which is is crazy from the Atlanta Falcons. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're the LA Rams and you need cornerback help desperately, they got the ability to take if they wanted to take a guy like Jamal McCoy in the top 10, they could.
Mm-hmm. It's worth the risk. Worth the
Yeah.
risk. You already got a
A Super Bowl
yeah,
team.
Super Bowl defense right now at this point. Okay, the safety spot. I know now we did draft Dan Jackson last year from
Yeah.
Georgia in the late rounds, so I'm willing to give that another try. I would say maybe we can get a safety. I don't have the free agent list in front of me, Walt, right now. I was kind of going that route. What I'm saying is, I kind of like the Thomas Harper experience. You know what I mean? He could be a guy that you could use as an extra guy with Dan Jackson, and then maybe sign a free agent. You know what I'm saying, with some experience. Who's ever that guy is, and then go with that. You don't necessarily have to draft a safety this year unless he's super special. And it's one guy that I had on my list that I like. You tell me if you like this guy or not. Everybody loves Caleb Downs. Who doesn't like him? What's the kid? A.G. Halsey. That's a guy from LSU. It's a guy Halsey. Halsey, excuse me. He's a guy that I like, man. And he's undersized like Brian Branch. He's kind of got the same build. But if that's a guy, if you want to maybe give yourself some more insurance, because listen, injuries happen, and you can't have just it seems like two guys ain't enough anymore. You got to have three guys deep at every position. So just another guy I want to bring up. I know Keon Saab too. Keon Saab, another guy, went to Michigan, transferred to Alabama. 6'1", 204. I don't think he's not the fastest guy at that position, but I think that's might be another guy you might want to look at just to beef up that because I'm intrigued by Dan Jackson. I think Dan Jackson does have some ability, you know what I'm saying, and he does have some good tools. Just watching his tape from last year and him not playing this year, like you said, maybe maybe that shouldn't hurt him in moving forward. Saying that he's not going to be a part of this team, so give him a chance to win one of those spots too as well. So
Um, if we talking safeties,
yeah,
depending on, I seriously doubt if they go safety in the first round. I know that's not even what we're talking
no,
about.
no,
Unless you got a situation where It gets interesting now if Caleb Downs falls to number 13 or falls to
Yeah,
14. You
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
an elite player at his
Elite
position.
player. Yes.
Yeah, that gives you flexibility if you don't want to pay Branch long term, or Kirby Joseph situation turns out to be something that's consistently ongoing. But I'm gonna go with Kamari Ramsey, the safety from USC,
Yes. See.
6 foot 205, fast.
Yeah.
Fast. If you're talking about in this day and age in the NFL for a safety, a guy that can play some cover one, can play man, can come down in the slots. Not very good overall. I don't think he's a liability in run defense, but it's not necessarily a strong suit. But if you're talking about a safety that can play man coverage, a safety that can cut the field in half when it comes to playing quarters, a guy that has the range to get sideline to sideline, a guy that can bail out suspect cornerback play because he can cover so much ground.
Yeah.
Kamari Ramsey of USC is a really good football player, and I think he's been underrated for a while. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Sign me up. That's
there's
that's
a lot of there's honestly a lot of safeties in this class, bro.
yeah.
So
Good.
they
Good.
don't have to necessarily take one in the first round. I don't think Kamari Ramsey is a first round pick, even though I heard some rumors about him possibly being, a first round pick.
Hmm.
But if you're talking about a guy who Um, that's why we put the safeties and the cornerbacks together for everybody, because in this day and age, they kind of one and one. If you look at Cooper DeJean over there with the Philadelphia Eagles, he's damn near a pseudo slot corner safety.
Yeah.
He's
Because he
he's
can run.
athletic. Yeah,
Because he's fast.
he's
Yeah.
an athlete. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good enough to play all three spots for you, and he's an excellent tackler. Now, as I mentioned, Kamari Ramsey is the best tackler. I don't think he's necessarily a liability in run support, though. But if you're a team that's looking for a safety that could possibly be there mid, late second round, maybe third round, even
Yeah.
though this team doesn't have a third round pick this year, but um, safety, you and I are both in agreement, is a position that does need to be addressed for this team. So
Yeah.
let's move on to the offensive side of the ball real quick. Running back position. We've all been hearing about these cryptic tweets from David Montgomery. I think it's obvious that he's not happy right
Hmm.
now with his spot on this team. And listen, the writing's on the wall, man.
Yeah.
Whenever you're a veteran running back and you're there and they draft a stud running back in the first round and a guy is as dynamic as Jahmyr Gibbs is, you can't hate the game. It is what it is, man. The young, talented back is his time. If you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they drafted Bijan Robinson. Algier was already there. Patterson was already there. This was a team that had a top 10 rushing attack before they drafted Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
And Bijan Robinson is so damn talented that he has to get the bulk of the touches.
Yeah.
That's,
That's
that's
right.
just the way it goes, man. Everybody,
That's right.
why isn't Montgomery getting split into carries? Because they have a young Marshall Falk out there. That's
Yeah.
why. He has to get the carries. He has to get the touches. Now, outside of Montgomery, you and I talked about this last year.
Yep.
Um, it's always cheaper to keep her in some in some instances, but if you look at the running back position, it's a spot that needs to be rejuvenated. I think every couple years. Sione Vaki is not an NFL caliber backup running back.
Nope.
Jacob Sailors, we don't know what the hell you're gonna get from him. So if you're being legit about it, you need to draft a David Montgomery esque type of running back this year, whether it's the fourth round, the fifth round. I'm not saying they got to go running back first round, the second round to go draft Jeremiah Love or nothing like that. But
I got a
a guy
solution.
like Nick
Nick
Singleton.
Singleton. There we go.
We both, you know why? Because
Nick
big
Singleton.
running
Oh,
back, 6'2", 220, and he got a track background too.
there
I
we
think
go.
when Nick runs at the combine, it's gonna shock people that he's 6'2", 6'1.5", 220, and
Mhm.
Nick Singleton is probably gonna run somewhere between 4.37 and 4.4 flat, I think.
Yeah, if he
A
do that,
big
he'll be a first
fast
round
running
pick.
back.
He'll be a first round pick, man, or at least early second. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, cut you off, and I like Darius Taylor.
Mhm.
Darius Taylor from Minnesota. Watched him last night. He didn't really. He scored a touchdown in the Rate Bowl last night, but Yeah, though we on the same page.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
and we
running
both
back.
think that I think he's a good compliment to
Yes.
Jameer Gibbs, and he also gives you some home run speed.
Hmm.
Now, is his vision anywhere near? Because if you're talking about like physical talent and you compare him to Jeremiah Love, of course, is the better back.
Hmm.
But Nick Singleton, and you were a big Nick Singleton fan last year. It's just that it's tantalizing when you look at the size. You know, if you look
Yes.
at Larry Johnson, where Larry Johnson was at Penn
Oh,
State, Larry
yes.
Johnson was 6'2", 220. He had long speed, but he didn't have Nick Singleton long speed. So
Hmm.
if you can get a 6'2", 220 plus pound running back
I can
who can
run.
get you those
Yeah,
goal line yards and a guy that can possibly break it 45, 50, 60 yards, it adds more juice to the offense.
that's right. And we need that with golf. With golf skill set, we do need. I think the running game's got to remember everybody. That's how we back in 2023. That's who we were. It started out with Jamal Williams, that Dan Campbell wanted to institute
And
running
fans
game.
thought he could never go because he was
Yeah,
a fan favorite.
yeah, and it's sort of like now that now that Dave Montgomery took his place, and I think Dave Montgomery's ran his course, and now it's time to replenish that, man. It's time to replenish that spot. And like you said, it's not saying that Jameer Gibbs is not the same player. It's not, because people automatically think if you draft the same position, they think you don't like the other guy anymore.
Competition.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And it's like that's not it at all. You know what I mean? I think for Jared Goff's skill set, we absolutely need another threat other than Jameer Gibbs now, because teams are, Gibbs is great, and other teams scheme for him now. You know what I'm saying? And what do people say? What have they been saying the last month about the Lions? They say you stop Jameer Gibbs, you stop the Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to you got to pivot a little bit and get another option at that spot. You know what I'm saying? To help the offense as a whole. So
Any other backs?
yeah, I do like it's a kid from Oklahoma, Jaden Ott. I do like him.
Okay.
Uh, Another guy, five. He's a little undersized though, speedster guy. Only thing about him, I kind of want to stay away from the little scat back. I do want a guy with some power, like you said. That's why I mentioned Darius Taylor, and that's why we mentioned Nick Singleton. Katron Allen, the guy that ran with Nick Singleton at Penn State, he's a little
Mm-hmm.
small. It's another Quintravian Wisner from Texas. Is another guy 6 foot tall. He could be another guy, runs a fourth. I want to see Wisner, excuse me, I said Wisner run into combine. That's another guy. You know what I'm saying? That you want to look at. It was one more guy on my list. He was further down though that we could possibly. Oh yeah, Isaiah Augustov from South Carolina, 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a load. He may not be the fastest. I mean, his 40 time is going to be huge too, depending on where he's going to get drafted. But he may be a late round back, fifth round or something like that. That you can get him. You know what I'm saying? Another guy. So those are kind of
Yeah.
running back has
For
kind of been
everybody
like,
that's hearing this too.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yep. No, no, I was just gonna say. Well, sorry, me cut you off. That
No,
is
you good.
just the running back spot is a need down the list. Okay, I don't want people to go crazy. Say they talking about drafting a running back in the first round. No, it's a
There's a lot
need
of depth though.
later round in the draft. That's what we're saying. So
Yep. I want to give you guys one more guy because we're gonna go through all of these position groups and we're gonna utilize PFF for it. It's gonna give everybody a better hands-on feeling of these running backs. But I got one more guy too, man. If we're gonna stay in the realm of big backs, you got LJ Martin, a BYU 6'2", 220.
oh
This is
yeah,
a guy that averaged 3.75 yards
yeah.
after
Mhm.
contact. He had an
Mhm.
overall zone grade of 82. He had an overall rushing grade of 86. He had a gap grade of 83 and a elusive back grading of 86.3. Now, when you first look at LJ Martin, you would think he's just that traditional A gap, B gap running back.
Yeah.
But he's got some decent feet for 6'2", 220 as well. So Not a guy that's going to be in the first round or the second round just because the first round and early second round are kind of reserved for those elite running backs. Those running backs that can do a lot, provide a decent amount of value, maybe some special teams value. You look at Travion Henderson, his overall value coming out of Ohio State is what got him drafted where he was drafted. He can return kicks. He's great in pass pro, which is always the quickest way for to get a running back on the field. He can run the ball between the tackles. He can bounce it outside. There's not much that Travion Henderson can't do, and we're seeing that for him right now in New England. But
Now,
all right,
is that?
man, to keep it. Yep.
I was just gonna say, is that Chris Johnson's son for SMU? Is that Chris Johnson? Remember the former running back Chris Johnson?
Don't give me the line.
I think Chris Johnson Jr. He's in the draft too. He's from SMU. I
For a
think.
second, I thought that was Bo Jackson's son. Bo, remember, you know who I'm
Wow.
talking about. You know who I'm talking about, right? Don't tell me you didn't think that was Bo Jackson's son. But
Oh
was it
man,
Bo Jackson Jr.?
you creating a whole nother
You don't
lineage.
know you don't know who I'm talking about? Was a
Who?
man named Bo Jackson Jr.
Yeah, from Ohio State. He played
Yeah.
for Ohio State. Yeah. No,
Don't tell me you ain't. Don't tell me you ain't think that.
no, I thought it for a second, but then it's funny you said that because they were saying that that's not that's not his son. They said it like right off the bat the game I watched, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So don't even think about it, Walt. they knew the wheel got the moving. But
yeah.
let's move to a positions group that I think is one of the strong suits. I like Tesla, St. Brown, and JMO as my 1, 2, and 3, or however you want to push it. Whether people want to hear it or not, Tesla is more so that X skill set. I think next season we're going to see a lot more St. Brown in the slot than usual. JMO is going to play a lot of the short side of the field. Maybe I would say the long side of the field. You want to get him in as much space as possible. But the tight end position, listen, I love Sam Laporta. You and I talked about whenever you have a good player or a guy that's deemed as a high level player at a position, you're not allowed to draft another player at his position because people automatically think you don't like him anymore. But this is a day and age in the NFL where I think you have a lot of teams are starting to utilize two really good tight ends. I
Yep.
mean, the wide receiver position is set unless somebody falls to them that they really like a specialist in the
I got
sixth round, something like that.
I got a bunch of guys. Yeah. Good.
But
Yeah.
no, I just think that the tight end position has been rich. If you look at the past handful of NFL drafts, and you can't go wrong with getting another guy out there that can take the spot of maybe a Brock Wright, a Shane Zylstra. Even
Trey
though
Justin.
they love those guys, but let's be honest, we can do better than that. And this offense, I think for them this offseason, and you and I touched on this, is going to be more so about them knocking off the stale and kind of recreating the offense on the fly because you can't keep thinking that you're going to keep going out there doing the same exact damn things offensively you done for the past 5 years. Everybody's got the book on you. They know what St. Brown likes. They know what he doesn't like. They
Yeah.
know what Jameson Williams is. Now, Tesla is the one wild card
Yeah.
because teams are going to have to game plan. Okay, wait a minute now. This tall white boy can run. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute. He can
Yeah.
jump too.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh, he got body control. Oh shit, he can catch. Oh, this
Yeah.
somebody. Oh, so it's not just St. Brown and JMO. Oh, we got something else to worry about with these guys. And I think adding a dynamic tight end, another one.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Bears with Colston Loveland and Komet.
Yeah. Cole Komet. Yeah.
And
Yep.
Loveland's he's on his way to being a star too, I think,
Yeah.
at tight end in this league. So tight end, boy, what you think?
Yeah, I like Jack Indries from Texas, 6'4", 240, good pass catcher, man. Another guy. I do like Justin Jolly from NC State, Wolfpack. Another guy you might want to add to. This is not a strong tight end draft this year. That's the only problem. But the number one guy, I think, if I had to pick one, I would say Oscar Delp from Georgia. Kind of cleaning up. He was there with Brock Bowers, but wasn't the feature guy. I think that Delp is a guy who we're going to see this weekend, next weekend. He may a guy that they depend on, to Their quarterback depends on big part of the offense. So yeah, the talent might not be as rich as it was, like you said, the last couple years at that position. Kenyon Sadiq is the top
Love him. Yeah.
rated guy, but obviously you're not going to draft Kenyon Sadiq.
I think he's gonna end up being the top skill position player taken. I think he may get drafted before any of the other wide receivers this year.
The receivers, okay, I can get with that. So you got some guys there, man. Eli Stowers is another guy from
Yeah.
Vandy that you might want to look at too later on in the draft. But I'm talking about getting one later, and I think that Jolly is a guy you can get later, and for sure Jack Injuries. You can get both those guys later in the draft, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Oscar Delp. So unless them guys just blow up the draft combine and run a hella 4.6 or something like that, or a late 4.59 or something like that, then they may be push themselves up the draft board. But just what you said, man. Sam Laporte is a guy who's a contract extension. He qualifies for one. You absolutely want to keep Sam Laporte around at what cost? That's just going to be the $1 million question with him. But he's a guy that Brad Holmes is one of Brad Holmes' best draft picks since he's been here. As far as grabbing this kid and drafting him. I remember me and you really liked Sam Laporta after the combine and thought that it was something there, and he drafted him. He picked him, and he wound up being a staple for this team. I think his production went down last year. Obviously played 9 games, and he still wound up with like 40 catches, I think, in 9 games. So Sam will be back next year, though. You know what I'm saying? We sorely missed him, but we do need another guy, like you said, like Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave for Green Bay's got a couple tight ends. We see it in Philly, we see it in Houston. The Chargers. Every team has a couple reliable tight ends that you use. You put them both out there at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And pass block, or use them as weapons, when time to time. But I think we need all the weapons we can get on offense. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I just want to say the receiver, I'm more bigger than receiver than a lot of people. I do think it'll be nice to add another guy. Because like you said, I think Corey mentioned it, the
Deion Burks.
yeah,
I like Deion Burks though.
You like him?
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Fast.
He
Explosive.
is fast. I'm gonna tell you, it's 3 guys that I really like. One guy is a clone of our guy, and he went to the same school. And I don't know if that
Makai
was
Lemon.
I love Makai Lemon. I think Makai Lemon.
He's more explosive, I think, than St. Brown. He's faster.
St. Brown. Yeah, I love Makai Lemon, man. It's another guy I like is
we thinking too much alike, man.
Jeremy Bernard. I think Jeremy Bernard is more valuable than Ryan Williams.
I think he's a pro.
I think Jeremy Bernard, if we took him, everybody would love him. I'm telling you right now. He's got a skill set nobody has on our team. That's what I'm looking for. What I'm not looking for a speedster guy like Jameson Williams. We got Tesla.
He's a consistent possession guy.
Yeah. Jeremy Bernard is top on my list. And if he was there, if we could somehow trade into the third round, I think Jeremy Bernard doesn't go past the third round. If we could some way trade into the third and get him, I think that would be admirable. But he's a guy. So we said Jeremy Bernard, Makai Lemon. It's one more kid. I want to say he was a little bit down on the list here. Yep, I see Deion Burks. Oh boy, where's my guy? Where is he at?
Let me be the first to say it right here while you look for that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Deion Burks is going to be a star at the next level.
Yeah,
I see a lot of Antonio Brown in him, man. Like the stop and go, the route running, the explosiveness, the speed. I'm pretty sure Big Ten fans remember he started at Purdue. Before he transferred, he spent the last couple years at Oklahoma. Could have came out last year and been like a mid to late round pick. If you're talking about like Antonio Brown, Deshaun Jackson type of talent, I think he's that type of guy. Y'all gonna start hearing Deion Burks' name a lot the closer we get to the draft and to the combine.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's not it's a luxury when you gotta draft a receiver for this offense, for our offense. It's a luxury. So you don't want to go crazy and like pick a guy way too early. But I do think
Yeah.
It's a science to it, man. It's a science that you can wait the right time. Yeah, Elijah Surratt, that was the guy. He right there in
Oh,
front of me.
Elijah Saraj.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Indiana. That's another guy that I really like.
Yeah.
6'2", 209. He's not the fastest guy, but like I said, right now it doesn't have to be speed. I just think right now we're looking for the next Tim Patrick type skill set. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice if you like Jeremy Bernard, if you just a robot built like RoboCop, that's even better. You know what I'm saying? A strong guy that
Yeah.
people got to contend and deal with. I think that's what this is, because St. Brown's good, but he's small in stature, catches everything. He's not physically imposing. Jameson Williams is a speedster.
Yeah.
Tesla's, can make all the catches we've seen now, but we need a guy with some strength, man, like an AJ Brown type. That's what I want. You know what I mean? So that's on my wish list right now. So
Mm. Um, I want to before we move on to the offensive line, another tight end. You brought him up. That's one of my guys, Justin Jolly, NC State. You talking about six
yeah,
three and a half, two
yeah,
63. Little strange body type.
yeah,
Built thick, like
yeah,
a built like a little fire hydrant out there with long arms, catches everything. If
yeah.
you look at the Cleveland Browns, what they were able to get done this season, at least before Njoku got hurt. You had Njoku right along with Harold Fannin Jr. Harold Fannin Jr. may be on his way to winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. You need multiple tight ends out there that can put stress on the defense, stress on those seams for
Mm-hmm.
sure against those safeties, man. And that's what really high level um, tight ends can do, for that matter. And if you look at Jolly, he's a guy that NC State lines him up everywhere. In the slot, they put him out wide, they put him at H back. He catches everything, very strong, powerful player. Had a very high contested catch rate. So once again, Justin Jolly, is he a first round pick? No. Is he a second round pick? No. Maybe a third round pick once you start talking about those top echelon not wide receivers, but tight ends coming off the
Yeah.
board with the all the numbers that everybody likes. He's the guy that's possibly could be there for our Detroit Lions to help turn around this offense. So let's bring up the elephant in the room, of course. The position group. I'm
Yeah.
not as down on the offensive line as a lot of people are because, in my estimation, where they're sitting right now in the draft. But I'm gonna also say this: if you have real aspirations of reaching the Super Bowl next year, do you want a rookie protecting Jared Goff's backside? Um, do
Yeah.
you want a rookie at center, or do you want to go out and get a center in free agency? I'm happy with Miles Frazier. I think Miles Frazier is a hell of a player. You and I talked about him immediately after the Senior Bowl and how high we were on him, his skill set. You look at what the fact that he never gave up a sack
Mm-hmm.
when he was at LSU. Tate Rallage, I'm not as down on him as a lot of people are. I think Tate ultimately is going to be a damn good interior offensive lineman for us. Now, moving on from Glasgow, that's that becomes a question. Taylor Decker, moving forward, is he back next season? Is he not? And if he's not back next season, how happy are you with Dan Skipper as your every Sunday left tackle?
No,
Um,
absolutely not.
right, and you have nothing behind Panay Sewell right now if you look at the depth chart. So you can make the argument. I don't disagree with you at all. You can make the argument that tackle and where they're sitting right now in the draft, they're in striking distance, bro. They could get the number one rated tackle if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think in this class. So I'm just not. If you plan on winning next year, your best bet probably would be to go get a vet to
Yeah.
play left tackle,
Yeah.
um, and center for that matter, and
Yeah.
just
Tyler Linderbaum is my guy. That's the guy I want in free agency. If we can
from the
get Tyler
Ravens.
from the Ravens, if we can sign him, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, far as the draft goes, I mean, we both like Spencer Fano. I think you like him too, well, right? Well,
Yeah,
6'6",
Utah.
300. Yeah, but I do like. I told you, at center, it's going to be like you said. It's going to be a process. If you take a center like Connor Liu, there's a guy from Arizona that I like. I'm sorry, Auburn. 6'3" at 300 pounds. You can draft him. That's cool. And I do think we do have to get just like another quarterback, start grooming them. I think you want to groom another center, man. I think that that's key. Even if he's not going to start next year, the bitter pill to swallow is if you draft a guy in the first round on the offensive line and he don't start. I think that that's what people kind of, at least I would like, man, why are we drafting guys that's not starting? But right now, you kind of we need the talent to kind of cultivate that talent right now. And so I can't look at it like that. So offensive line is a well. I never thought going into another draft cycle, I would be saying like I would rather take an offensive lineman than an edge rusher because I think it's so important to what we're trying to do.
Ooh,
Offensive.
we gonna have them conversations,
I
bro.
mean, I
When
think
we get into mock drafts, we gonna have them
dude,
conversations.
we need offensive line help bad, and it's like we need that more than pass rusher, and we need a pass. We know how bad we need a pass rusher. So, but like you said, I got four offensive linemen penciled in for next year: Sewell, Mahogany, Frazier, and Rattlers. Like you said, I'm absolutely
Mhm.
intrigued with Miles Frazier. You know what I'm saying? We have seen him play like half of 2 games, I think, since he
Christian
played.
Mahogany coming back.
Yeah, Kristen Mahogany coming back. I do like Kristen Mahogany. I do think with him, it's basically a rookie season for him because remember the first his first season he played what 5 games I think it was. This year he's been in and out of lineup, so he's basically still under a full 18 games himself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? 17-game season himself. So it's something there with Mahogany. Just like Ratledge, I agree. I think that Ratledge had a rough go of it. You know, his first rookie his time he started every game. He's been played every game, so I think that that experience is really going to help Tate Ratledge going into next season. I think he will be a guy you can depend on that right. I think he will be a right guard. You know, I do think that's going to be his spot. You know what I'm saying? The $1 million question is if Taylor Decker retires, then are you going to move Sewell, or are you going to remember we talked about this before? Remember back when we were they was flirting with putting Sewell at left tackle before. Are you
Right.
going to keep Sewell on the right side? Or are you going to move him to left side and get you another right tackle? You know what I'm saying? Because if you just let's just say if they move him, if they put Taylor Sewell at left tackle. Let's just say if we do that, I do think you can make it work with a rookie at right tackle. I do think you can because I think that this draft is it's a plethora of guys you can get, man. I know we're going to get into it. I can't name all the guys right now, but like I said, just looking at centers right now, I just looked at Connor Lew and Brailsford from Auburn from Alabama. I
Yeah.
think Brailsford he's only like 290 pounds though. He reminds me of a Alex Mack type that was small. You know what I'm saying? A small center, but he can do the job. So yeah, that's the only position where while there's a ton of guys that I do like. I like Proctor. I like Isaiah Worlds, excuse me, Jaden Robert. It's a lot of guys out there that I like. So it is some talent, and I always think of it like this: if it's a bunch of talent at one said position in every draft, like this draft, I don't think it's a tight end good draft to me. Last year I thought was a really good tight end draft, and I think that last year we missed the boat because there was a bunch of guys last year we could have got later on. I told you, Terrence Ferguson, my guy, and the Rams wound up taking him, and it was a great pick
True.
for them. So, so this what I'm saying is the offensive line this year I think is the position where it's a bunch of guys you can pick that is some talent there. And I believe you got to get yourself one of those guys. Even if you don't start the guy this year, you have to at least get you a center. Even if you sign Tyler Lindenbaum, get you at least another center where you got some coverage, man. If something happened, you know what I mean? That's our problem, not having
Yeah.
the guys on the depth chart.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I would much rather go into the season with a rookie at left tackle over a rookie at center. One guy I do want to bring up is hopefully I say his name right from Ohio State, the left tackle from Ohio State, Austin
Treefeld,
Sierraville. Yeah,
Shearville, yeah.
huge dude, 6'5", 325.
Yeah.
Got some experience at guard, played left guard as well as right guard last year. This is his first full season playing left tackle, and he has been elite.
Yeah.
Elite in the run game. He's been elite in pass pro. Um, Athletic kid. Another, you notice we getting a lot of these kids reached now as of late that 6'5", 330 plus. And remember, there was a point in time where people wanted the tackle to be 320 to 325. They wanted the guards to be 295 to 305, rather or whatever, short, stout, built like fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Now we're getting more and more of these 6'5", 330 plus guys who can not only play guard, but can also be athletic enough to kick outside and play tackle. Sierra Veld, Austin Sierra Veld of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly right now where he ranks in the NFL boards, but man, massive upside, massive upside. And like I said, for Lions fans, none of us want to be home. Well, we're all home watching the playoffs, technically, but none of us want our team to not be participating in the playoffs. But
Yeah.
the upside to this is the fact that you have the ability to get yourself an elite player at one of these positions, that we've been talking about
Do
so
it.
far today, man.
You
So,
got to do
like I
it.
said, between offensive tackle, um, Decker, that's the question. Center's the question. Um, does Tate Ratledge as well as Miles Frazier, do those two guys continue to mature and grow as players? Can Christian Mahogany ever be a 17-game guard for us? They got some questions. I just don't think there's as many at that position group as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
If we talking about in the best world, if you told me we right now, if we could walk away from this draft with one thing in the first round, an elite edge rusher, an elite corner, an elite left tackle, or what else do we consider a true need?
Cornerback.
Linebacker, maybe an Arvell Reese, an elite linebacker like that. What would you rather have?
Good question. Good. Very. It's
Me,
a
it's the
very.
edge rusher because even as much as I want a corner, I
Mm-hmm.
would love to have a menace in that front seven that nobody is like, damn, I mean, Hutchinson over here, and damn, man, oh, man, oh, shit, he gonna sack. Like that guy that teams look at Detroit defensively and say,
Mm-hmm.
man, damn, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Like, we got to worry about that dude over there. Like, he's a
Yeah.
game wrecker.
Good question. I would rather have. I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth, man. I can't believe I'm gonna say it. I would rather an offensive lineman. I would
The
because I
elite
see.
left tackle.
Yep, because I see how much of a problem it is. It blew our season up, man. You know what I'm saying? It totally ruined our season, like not having adequate protection. You know what I'm saying? And everybody y'all know I want defensive lineman. Yeah, we need a defensive lineman bad. You know what I'm saying? A edge rusher. You know that get to the quarterback. But I think now that Jared Goff's our quarterback. We really do. We have to get our offensive line together. So because we can't run, we can have all the defense in the world. We can't run the ball. That's been the problem now. We cannot run the ball anymore. So that's got to be fixed. And I would rather have the defensive lineman, but if you could tell me, let's just say,
Because
if
you a big
we
Arvell Reese fan too. So
yeah, and just what Lamar said, and thanks for everybody comment, Corey, Brent, everybody that's been on here. We appreciate y'all. And Lamar's right. I mean, this draft, that's what I was gonna say too, Walt. If we don't get maybe the top guy to rush the passer in the first round, maybe we can get a diamond in the rough in the fourth round. Not a diamond in the rough. I think it's that deep where you can get a guy in the fourth round. I think we got two fourth round picks, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm taking offensive line. If okay, this is a perfect scenario for me. If we let's just say we get Tyler Lindenbaum at center, which I want, right? Then if you told me if we took a Spencer Fano, like you said, if he fell to us some type of way, or even your guy, Sharif, I do like him. Sharif, he was on my list, but he was kind of down. But if I had to if you told me I can get the elite, just pick a guy, elite offensive lineman with Tyler Lindenbaum That's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, that's for me. That's what we need because then Gibbs is effective. Jared Goff's effective again. We're gonna have Laporta back. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things will come in motion. Whoever the offensive coordinator is gonna be an attractive job for them. You know what I'm saying? To have another elite offensive lineman and to have the weapons we already have. You know what I'm saying? So and that's another thing. Like who's gonna be the offensive coordinator? I mean, that's another show for another day. I mean, obviously we're gonna get into that, but I don't want to see another Coyote or Awasika out there. You know what I'm saying? But only like if he's filling in for a game, if somebody misses a
No,
game,
I
then
get it.
that's
I
cool.
get it.
I don't want to go in next season and our offensive line is less than. That
I
that
just
that
think
is
that
that is not gonna work, man. That's period. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I kind of get it why a lot of GMs they you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into a position and start reaching because regardless of what they draft in the first round, there's going to be people saying if they draft a tackle in the first round, oh that's BS. They should have took a corner. Oh that's BS. They should have took an edge rusher. That's BS. Listen, at the end of the day, before anything else, you want an impact player. That's the whole thing. Whether it comes in a tackle, it comes in an edge rusher, it comes in a number one corner. You want to make sure in the first round you get a legitimate starter and a player. The
Yeah.
moment you start saying you must draft this in the first round, which I've always thought was bullshit,
Yeah.
because
Now
you don't want to draft the position because you wind up passing on damn good players
that's right.
to aim. You don't want to aim. You want to actually get the best players possible. And those
You taught
tackles
me
are
that.
kind of hit or miss too,
You
in a lot
taught
of
me
these
that
cases.
too. I'm
You
sorry,
know,
me
and
to cut you off,
yeah,
but I just want to say this because I owe that to you. I owe that credit to you because you taught me that, like, to kind of evaluate players, to kind of like, because like you said, like everybody in there, everybody was saying, get the best pass rusher, get the best pass rusher at number 15, wherever we just say we're at 15. And I agree with that. I agree we need a pass rusher, but just like Lamar said, you got maybe 7 guys you can get to fit our scheme, what we're looking for. I want, like I said, it's more talent, I think, in the offensive line class this year. And I want an elite, I want a blue. Remember, I said I don't want a Kobe Sourcedall. I don't want another guy that's not going to be a starter. I want a guy who's a blue chip offensive lineman. I'm tired of playing around with that position, man. You know what I'm saying? Get your guy. Now, when the third round comes up, we know Brad Holmes has been good enough where he's able to trade up and trade picks. I think Brad Holmes will trade into the third round to get him an edge rusher. He better, you know what I'm saying? He better if it's somebody there and they start going off the board quick. I think that he needs to make a move and get somebody, but I just can't believe it's coming out of my mouth that I would rather take an offensive player because I do believe whoever wins the Super Bowl this year, I think that it's going to be between like the Rams, the Houston, the Jaguars, Denver, teams with hell of a defenses like that. You can throw Philly in there too. Them teams, they got hell of a pass rushes. They got hell of
yeah, they do, they do.
cornerback city. Darren Stingley Jr. has been incredible. He's been
Yep.
incredible for Houston, man. And I think it's getting back to defense wins championships. I mean, your offense got to be your quarterback's got to be on it too, but I do think you do have to have a dominant front seven. I think I think you can get by with having average cornerback play or safety play, but you got to be able to get to the quarterback. You know, right? Just Corey and Brett. Like I said, no more Corby Sorstar, no more Manus, man. Give me Spencer
Oh
Fannell.
yeah, with no more Brian Westbrooks and no more Terry Fairs.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like I'm listening, man. I'm listen, we gonna
We
get
gonna
into
get
this,
into it.
man,
We gonna get into it.
because we like I said, if we go back and look at this secondary, look at all them damn question marks we got in that secondary. We don't have any NFL quality, legit starting corners. Let's
No,
not forget that.
that's
We
right.
don't have that. Brian Branch is not starting next season. Kirby Joseph career is kind of up in limbo. Will he ever be a 17 game player, or will he be for the rest of his career a habitual play 2 games, miss 2 games, play 3 games, miss 4 games?
Mhm.
We got a lot of questions in this secondary as well, man. So if they went corner in the first round, it would make sense,
Yeah, yeah,
especially if the number one guy on the board falls to them at that spot.
yeah.
That's why, I just want fans to come to grips with reality that they're not going to solve all of their issues with one first round pick. I think people who don't really get into the NFL draft, a lot of people don't think past the first round either. So for entertainment purposes, the first round is the NFL draft for most fans.
Yeah,
And if you don't hit on all cylinders in the first round, the draft was a failure. People like us who understand that your entire team is built off of 7 rounds, not just one, we don't think like that.
yeah,
So we understand that you may not take the position I want you to take in the first round, but just because you don't do that doesn't mean your draft was a failure. Like we look at the Tyreek Williams pick from this past draft.
yeah,
That pick wasn't made necessarily for this season.
yeah,
That pick was made for 2026 once DJ Reader's gone. Like we
yeah,
already kind of, knew that. Now, for a team that's trying to win now, at least we thought they were trying to win now, Tyreek Williams didn't make the most sense. But think about some of the guys we passed on though.
yeah,
Think about all the players people were pounding the table for. How many of those guys getting 11, 12, 13 sacks for their teams? God, look at Mike Green over there in Baltimore. Like these
yeah,
guys that we hoped and prayed Brad Holmes would draft, a lot of those guys not doing shit for the teams they with either. So we don't have it all figured out neither. But I just think that this team has so many different directions that they can go in the first round that fans don't set yourself up to be disappointed because it could be left tackle. I would have zero issue with that. It could be tight end. It could be safety. It could be DB, interchangeable DB. Could be edge rusher. It could be another defensive lineman. We talked about Keldrick Falk of Auburn,
hmm
6'6", 285. A guy that can play three tech, can play some four over the tackle. He can play outside the tackle. There's a lot that Keldrick Falk can do, just not really a high sack guy. But if you're talking about a guy that fits the need and the skill set and the production, to me, it's still David Bailey. It's got to
hmm
be David Bailey as far as that spot. But all right, man. Let's hit one more thing before we get out of here, man. One question we got for y'all, real quick.
yeah.
Worst scenario:
Oh boy.
Stafford wins his second Super Bowl, or Ben Johnson reaches Super Bowl in year one.
Want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say if Ben Johnson makes the Super Bowl, that's like stabbing me and turning the knife. Do you know what I'm saying? Stafford winning would be bad too because you figure, okay, he would win 2 Super Bowls and we haven't even made it since he left. But I think having Ben Johnson in our coaching staff in our building and then going to our rival and then going to the Super Bowl would be insane, man. And it's totally possible. Totally possible. I never thought I would say that. I mean, I knew that you knew me. I was high on the Bears
Yeah.
last year. I didn't think I thought last year they would be better than they were. But now this year, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson proved me wrong. I thought that he would struggle being a coach, his first year. Obviously Aaron Glenn's having a different go of it, but Ben Johnson won't. Just to keep short
Corey
and sweet,
Patterson
he
is Ben Johnson
he
for
would
sure.
that would be worse to me. Not winning the Super Bowl, but just make it. Think about what we just said,
Before the
bro.
Bears.
The Bears making the Super Bowl
Yeah.
before us would be
Yeah, it
bad.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for sake of argument, I want to say Stafford wins his second. Because if you think about it, man, it would bring this entire trade full circle. Um, Headed into year 6, you reflect on this whole situation over the past 5 years. Stafford took over a ready-made team, won the Super Bowl immediately with that team that Jared Goff had. Um, Competed the next year.
hmm
Aaron Donald retired. Jalen Ramsey left. Odell Beckham Jr. left. Leonard Floyd left. Von Miller left. They rebuilt that team
Built that
2
team.
years after that.
That's right.
Stafford was the quarterback of the youngest team in football for 2 straight years. They
Uh-huh.
got some draft picks, rebuilt that team, and if they completely lap Detroit, because that's what happened. If the Rams win another Super Bowl this year, they lapped us.
hmm
They went from high level F them picks to win a quick microwave Super Bowl, to lose for a couple seasons, become the youngest team in football, all while Stafford's still there, rebuilt the team,
Yeah.
and got better than us again in that
Again,
same 5 year
defense
span and
better.
won
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
so for just for sake of argument, I
Oh,
would say if Stafford won two before Jared Goff got us the one. I think for all, even for the biggest Jared Goff slappy out here, you can no longer say Goff is better. And you can no longer say for Lions fans who say we won the trade because we got Jamison Williams and we got Jameer Gibbs and all that, that's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, ultimately you want to win a Super Bowl. And
yeah.
having Jameer Gibbs and Jamison Williams does not trump winning two Super Bowls.
No, hell
Wake up,
no.
stop being complete idiots. That's not the way this works.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to win Super Bowls, and that would be
Yeah.
both would be terrible. But Ben making it, boy, and taking his shirt off in the NFC Championship game on the field, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then too, I do think that then trust me, I expect the Rams to make the Super Bowl. Make no mistake about it. I do. You know what I'm saying? I just think it'd be worse if Chicago did. Early Super Bowl. Just before we get out of here, we're gonna talk about the coaches because I think our next show, Walt, I think is we got to have a conversation about Dan Campbell. We do.
the
I
staff
think
overall.
staff overall, Dan
Okay,
Campbell. I
cool.
think it's another we gotta sit down and we gotta reevaluate some things. We gotta look at the whole totality of this program that we're in right now and just give some thought, some feedback with Corey and Brent and everybody, who always are with us every show. We appreciate y'all for the whole year. It's probably our final show for 2025 this year. So we appreciate everybody, man, that stood with us this year. Like I said, the season didn't end the way we thought it would. I did thought we would make the playoffs at least. You know what I'm saying? I know the division would be tough because this is a team, the Lions have went 11-1 in division play the last 2 years. So the division was bound to just the law of gravity was going to change to an
Yeah,
extent because we've dominated the North for 2 years, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is. I've already turned the page on the season, man. That's why we talking draft because we love the draft, and I think that it is some changes that could be made. I just want to caution Lions fans. I don't know. I'm not going to promise and say it'll be right. We'll be right back good next year because I think it's a couple year process. To be honest with you, we could be a playoff team, but maybe a serious, bowl contender, Super Bowl contender. We need to pump the brakes on that for a little while. You know what I'm saying? I do think the Lions organization as a whole is no longer the laughing stock. Don't believe that I seen memes where it's Dan Campbell and morphed into Rod Marinelli. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think it's that bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, man. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen the way we wanted it. I think everybody. And this is what I don't like too on social media. Like when a team is bad, we about to go through with the Pistons. It's about to be the same talk with the Pistons. Now that they're the only team, and the Red Wings too, obviously. But um, we turn against each other, like because other people. I think the ultimate goal. I think everybody that watches and Lions fans and us, even us, me and you are fans to an extent. But then we put our analysis hats on with this team, and everybody starts to point, and then it gets a nasty shouting match on Facebook about losses, about whose fault it is, about Jared Goff, about Dan Campbell, about you stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. You
stop
don't know,
insulting my guy.
you don't
You're
know
gatekeeping fandom.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're talking about, what is it? This guy should be fired. You want to get mad because Jameson Williams got paid his contract, but you don't want to get mad at Aiden Hutchinson for lack of performance. He's got 13 sacks. But what I'm saying is it's a bunch of the finger point game. The guys that you like, you don't want to criticize those guys, but the guys you
Right.
don't like, then they're the problem. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's as fans, that's weird to me. That's super weird how people can turn on each other about a team losing when the ultimate goal is we all want this team to win and go to the Super Bowl. You know what
Because I think it's hard to find fans who are unbiased.
I'm saying?
Every fan, the classic normal everyday run of the mill fan, they have their sacred cow players that are untouchable. But
Yeah,
football fans are worse. It's like NBA. You can find NBA fans to be honest about their team. Man, my team sucks. We ain't got no off the bench scoring. We can't rebound. This guy that you can find teams fan. The Tiger fans are the most honest.
yeah,
Tiger fans are honest as hell about that team, man.
yeah.
Red Wings fans are honest about their team, but it's something about this Lions team that
Yeah, it's like
delusionalized fans that
because some people,
it's tribal to a certain extent.
yeah. What was the game? I couldn't believe what I was seeing on. It was like everybody, not the still not the last game. Everybody was to blame, but it was clear that Goff didn't have a good game, and it was like it went from Jameson Williams being a bust to um, what was it? It was St. Brown not being what he was. He's hit his peak. You know, it was just like, and it's clear like whose fault it was, and that's fine. That's fine. If our offensive line's not good enough, everybody knows that. Okay, Dan Campbell wasn't good enough this year. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot of reasons why. I think he did what any good leader would do to try to put matters in his own hands and fix the problem himself. And it was he was in over his head. You know what I'm saying? I don't fault Dan Campbell for that because at least he did try to do something because he knew it wasn't working. But again, the problems we had wasn't going to be able to be fixed on the fly. I knew we was in trouble. This is when I knew that the Pittsburgh game was in trouble when they had three different centers playing in one game. I think remember the play that Goff got a safety on Mike. I think Michael Neese was in there, 62. He was in there hiking the ball. Then it was Miles Frazier for like one play. It was like Miles Frazier played center. Then it was Eagle Khan. He plays. It was just like this team is really in trouble. This team they tried three. I've never seen that before in an NFL game, and then
Yeah.
nobody was injured. They had three different centers playing one game. It tells you how bad it was this year. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, we got notorious BG here, Bears fan. This is coming from a Bears fan. Lions have a golf problem. Your
yeah,
success is now your curse because you paid him. It
yeah,
is what it is, man. I mean, ultimately, you can get rid of guys. We was talking about that early in the season. When teams no longer want you around, they'll pay you to go away.
hmm
Uh, Now we're going to get into the financial ramifications about this offseason for the
oh,
Lions in regards to golf and him being on pace
quarterback.
to make
Oh,
$59 million,
oh,
and how do they redo his contract this off season. But listen, I'm not the biggest Jared Goff fan at all. I've said from day one, I felt that he was good enough to get us to a certain point, but Jared Goff has a hard ceiling. He to me he's in the same category with a lot of guys in this league, man. He can only get you so far. His flaws, his shortcomings show up in situations, the most unopportune situations. Because if you have an offensive line, and we talked about this early in the show for everybody that wasn't here. I don't want to get too deep into it because we gotta get out of here. But it's unfair to ask any offensive line in this day and age, college or NFL, to be
mhm.
A1 plus every game, every Sunday.
Yeah,
These defensive tackles, these edge rushers, these front seven players, they too damn good. There's going to be certain Sundays where your offensive line is just overmatched. And everybody likes to throw out the, well, make adjustments card. You can't always make adjustments. There's certain Sundays where the defensive front seven has your number. And in those cases, it's nice to have a quarterback that can move. That's a
hmm
quarterback that kind of saves the offense. Listen, how many times we heard Buffalo Bills offensive linemen, Baltimore Ravens offensive linemen,
hmm
even KC offensive linemen say, you know what, man, we
yeah.
didn't have our best game, but Pat kind of saved our ass. Josh kind of saved our ass. Lamar saved our ass.
Well,
It's not just the offensive line all the time.
three teams, Walt, that realistically could make it to the Super Bowl. Their offensive lines ain't that great. Look at the Chargers. They lost Joe Alt and what was the other Pipkins? I think his name was. He's missing both those guys. What's wrong? The Chargers can do it. Why can't the Chargers do it? C.J. Stroud, the Houston Texans offensive line is terrible. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks better than Jared Goff, not Joseph. We ain't gonna go down that line.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
ain't
no,
got
no, no,
time to go down there.
no, yeah, right. That's not that. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not even the question.
And that's and see just that comment right there just puts everybody like pointing against each other. It's just it's stupid to me. It's totally stupid. It's we like you said. That's the question. We don't even have to address that because it's pretty obvious. Look at all of the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. Basically, all of those quarterbacks are damn near better than Jared Goff. I mean, I'm just gonna answer your question right there. You know,
They're all
so
difference makers with their feet too.
yeah, so I mean, and that's fine. If you got golf, if you want golf as your quarterback, I'm trying to help you. Trust me. If y'all want golf at quarterback, I'm just trying to help you where he can succeed. And right now, he ain't succeeding with the offensive line. So Walt's question was, who's going to be the guy that you want in the first round? The reason why I'm picking the offensive lineman over anybody on cornerback or lineman that we need because we need Jared Goff to be helped. Okay, he needs to have a brick wall in front of him to be successful. So I'm picking offensive lineman until we change quarterbacks. That's the route I'm going because that's not having a. You can have a hell of a defense, but if we can't run the ball like we seen against Minnesota on Christmas, it don't matter how many great players we got on offense defense because we can't run the ball. We can't even hike the ball right. So that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah, and I don't want this to turn into you guys are bashing Jared Goff segment because that's not what it is at all.
Mm-hmm.
But there's tears to it. Listen, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. Jared Goff played all 17 games, and we possibly missed the playoffs by 2 games. That's kind of like the war for
Yeah.
starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not a difference maker. Kansas City lost their quarterback for the season for a large amount of games for that matter. Baltimore had Lamar Jackson missing for what, 5 games, I think, 6. Joe
Mm-hmm.
Burrow missed a handful of games. Joe Burrow missed 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. You can
Yeah.
make the argument that if all of those quarterbacks played, those teams had a higher chance to make the playoffs. And even though Cincinnati and Baltimore play in the same division, so they kind of canceled each other out, those teams had better chances of making the playoffs with their quarterbacks. Those teams didn't make the playoffs because they lost their quarterbacks. Our quarterback played all 17 games. We missed the playoffs by 2 games. Let's
Yeah.
be realistic about it. And even if he's sitting at home with those guys are still better than him. So we're not going to play the QBR game. We're not going to play the completion percentage game. There's not a damn GM in the NFL. Let's settle this right now because I'm sick of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a GM in the NFL that would take Jared Goff over Josh Allen or
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. And if
Yeah.
you gave Brad Holmes a lie detector test, he would fail if he told you he would. Your own head coach, Dan Campbell, has a man crush on Josh Allen. He talks about how the arm strength, the size, the mobility, the fierce competitiveness. That's him talking about another quarterback. So let's be honest. Jared Goff is not in those dudes' tier. And fans kill me with the whole, they know he's not physically in that tier. So what they do, they play the whole, well, he's sitting at home with our guy too. Hell out of here. If
Yeah.
Josh Allen was the quarterback of this team this year, they don't miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
If
I
Joe
mean,
Burrow's the quarterback, they don't miss the playoffs. Your quarterback, he's not a difference maker. He's a placeholder.
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
sick. I'm sick and tired of this, man. These fans need to wake the hell up. That dude is not the dude. For whatever reason y'all want to make him out to be the dude, nobody's taking him over Josh Allen. No matter what the hell y'all think he is.
mm, yeah. I mean, they go by the stats. You go by stat. You know, what 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. I mean, that's a damn good season. But like you said, the reality is you at home. You know, what I mean, that's what it comes down to. Now look at Stafford all of those years. Just flip the script. Remember before Stafford became with the Rams, Stafford had hella stats. You know what I'm saying? Hella passing yards, hella accolades. Everybody knew Stafford was arm talent, God given talent. The team was horrible. Management was horrible. He had all those stats, but they wasn't winning. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference. You're not paying Jared Goff $59 million against the cap to not make the playoffs. That's just me. It doesn't matter. And listen to this. It could be we tried to get a guy to groom. Hendon Hooker wasn't the right guy, but that wouldn't hesitate to draft another guy this year. You
Oh
have
yeah,
to
because we didn't
you
get to
have
it. They
to
need a backup.
yeah, and just what Joseph is saying, and to Joe's point, he's right. You do have to kind of get somebody. I agree with that. I think the process. Can we start the process this year? Okay, why can't we come to an agreement as Lions fans? Let's get somebody in the building that seriously can be. Let's put a time limit on, since everybody loves Jared Goff. So let's just say we get into 2026. By 2028, our next guy we draft, we want him to be our quarterback when Goff contract runs out. How are you going to do that if you don't start the process? I don't want a bum free agent like a Ryan
I get it.
Fitzpatrick type the minute that he retires or whatever he goes. Jared Goff, we want somebody like a Jordan Love that's been in the system for 2 years. We want somebody that's been in the system, get you the right offensive coordinator this year, and get you a quarterback that he can work with. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I would do. You get the right offer, not Johnny Morton and not Dan Campbell. You got to get somebody else. Now, whoever that else, we'll have that talk too when the season's over. But get you a quarterback, get you offensive coordinator, and bring this guy along in the system gradually. So when Jared Goff gets hurt, hey, Lord forbid, what if Goff gets hurt next year? Then what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we think of all of these guys is invincible and won't get hurt or anything like that. We've seen if you don't have a replacement for St. Brown, if you don't have a replacement for Jameer, Lord forbid if Jameer Gibbs gets hurt, or if Jameson Williams misses some time, or if your quarterback gets hurt, who you put? You putting Kyle Allen out there? Is Kyle Allen going to do something? You know what I'm saying? Who?
Well, I mean, listen, you talked about it earlier in the show, man. Quarterback is the one position on the field where fans get all butthurt if you draft a guy at the position of their favorite guy. Like Jared Goff is so much these people's guy that mentally it only makes sense to draft the quarterback this year because, as you mentioned, you have Kyle Allen, the podcaster, as your backup. Bill Belichick drafted a quarterback every other year, and he had Tom Brady. So let's just be honest about it. But fans get all bent out of shape when you mention drafting the quarterback. Remember when Stafford was here and we talked about them drafting the quarterback? Or what you want to draft a quarterback for? You've got Matt. That's a waste of a pick. It feels like they feelings get hurt when you mention drafting another quarterback. I think it's organization malfeasance if they don't draft the quarterback this year
Yeah, it's
because you
crazy to me.
need one.
You need
It
one
doesn't
in the
make any sense
system.
not to.
We just need a guy that's in the system. Can we just create a system for quarterback? I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, that's what good teams do. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I mean, man, you know, we've hit so much, and
So
we
much.
thank Joe. You know, Joe. Everybody's comments, man. Y'all,
Everybody.
you guys are great. So, and you guys make this show what it is. You know what I'm saying by the comment. It's good banter. Trust me, we don't take nothing personal. We don't. We're not upset. I'm not kicking a dog after the show's over with or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is, this is a podcast, and we have fun, and it's just the Lions players don't even know who we are. You know what I'm saying? Basically,
Man.
we talking about them. So, you know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we need to just kind of pump the brakes a little bit sometimes on some things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm with you, Walt. Next show, I think, or whatever. You know, you the engineer of this whole thing, so we do need to get into the coaching. Need to give some grades to Kelvin Shepard. We know the offensive coordinator was an F for sure, so we really don't have to hit that part. But
Damn.
what about Kelvin Shepard as a whole? We'll talk about him next time around, and Dan
Yeah.
Campbell. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
thinking he's getting a bit of a bad rap too in this. People
Yeah.
comparing him to Aaron Glenn, which I think is completely unfair. You're talking about a guy in his first year as defense coordinator compared to a guy who had 4 years experience.
Hmm.
So and he had a lot go wrong on his defense as well. But I'm
Yeah.
with you 1,000%, man. We're gonna get into the coaching staff because the off season, even though we do got a game against the Bears coming up week 18, the season is over with. This team is not reaching the playoffs. So you know how we get down on Lions Avenue. We are all about dissecting this football team from top to bottom, and we love
Hmm.
that all of you guys. And we have a lot of spirited dialogue in the comment section. I love all y'all because
Yeah, for sure.
even we don't have to all agree. We don't have to all agree. I just like to hear some common sense from all of y'all. And even if I don't agree with you, I still understand everybody's point of view because most of y'all have sound reasoning behind why y'all view things the way y'all view. So there's no hard feelings with anybody.
No,
Love all
absolutely
y'all.
not. Absolutely
Y'all
not.
show up every single weekend for us and throughout the week for us. We appreciate it. And it is the off season, it's draft season, baby. Coming up with free agency. Till next time, one pride.